It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the to the show that we're doing right now.
Following the local teams, breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interview. Join the show by calling into 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press.
Throws, answer, yes! Caught! Touchdown! They did it!
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome on in to another edition of the Full Court Press. Eric Frandsen here. Jason Walker slipping out, and you'll hear his voice, but he will not be part of this hour here on the Full Court Press. Making his way down to Salt Lake City for a couple of things that he's got going on. Watch, as he mentioned earlier, the Utah Mammoth take on the Seattle Kraken in Salt Lake City, and then stay down there because he's going to be watching Utah State men's basketball take on Illinois State, also in that same venue. So they'll have to swap out the ice, move the risers a little bit, put a floor down, and get it right back together because it'll be a busy afternoon, a busy day actually, full day of basketball there at the Delta Center for a bunch of college basketball games all in one day. Utah Valley plays their game at noon. Utah State plays their game at 3 against Illinois State. And we'll hear from Coach Calhoun. What are his thoughts? Can't speak. What are his thoughts about getting ready for the Redbirds? But also, the Utah State finds themselves in a period of time here where not very many games. They don't really have to travel very far, so they can spend a lot of time in the gym. And I would argue this stretch on the calendar is probably the most important stretch for Utah State because they've had games that they've played, they've traveled some, they've been home some, but now they get to spend a lot of time in the gym. Like this coaching staff can do whatever they can in practice in the off season to try to figure out what they have, what their roster looks like, what their rotations and their depth. But once you start playing games, you learn more things about your team. And now they've got more of a body of work here to evaluate and look at film and practice habits and game habits. And now they can work on some more things back in the gym to get ready to fine-tune things before they get into conference play. So we'll hear from him what he has to say about that. And if we can, we'll try to also sneak in Tucker Anderson. The reason why if we can, because we've got a high school basketball doubleheader going on tonight. Skyview girls basketball tipping off around 5:30, and then the boys basketball will follow shortly thereafter. Hurricane John Newbold is going to be there at Skyview to cover both games, and so that will cut into our normal time together here on the Full Court Press. So enough time of me blabbing around. Let's hear from the coach. This is from Coach Jerrod Calhoun, his media availability earlier today, visiting with a couple different members of the media to talk about Illinois State and generally the state of his own basketball team.
I guess just you're talking about having a week of practice, had a chance to work on some things. What are the biggest things you got your team to work on this week?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't just one thing. I think it was a lot of different categories where we got to concentrate. Really just getting back to our, the concepts and things, the principles that we stand for on both sides of the ball. I think sometimes winning can be just as dangerous as losing, right? You get ahead of yourself. You forget about the things that got you where you're at. And just, those constant reminders the last few days.
So it's been a good week then?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I thought we responded pretty well against Charlotte. It's just good to be back in our own beds, to be honest with you. When you travel 14, 15 days to the East Coast in 3 weeks, I think that was pretty taxing on our guys. So just getting back to the West Coast and getting acclimated, getting them back in school, getting them back in their own beds, that has helped also.
I want to ask about this event because I think within the same day, I think Utah and UVU, I don't think Utah's part of a separate organization event, but was there any chance of playing UVU or Utah in the Delta Center?
Yeah, I mean, those are schools certainly that we want to play. I think scheduling, Jason, is so crazy right now. Like yesterday, I spent probably 30 to 40 minutes trying to work on next year's schedule. With not having multi-team events, I think there's so many different organizers that are putting things together. Obviously, the Players era is in a totally different stratosphere. You've got, different things in Maui, and you've got certain events. Adam is a guy that has put on some of these events over the years, a guy that we all kind of know, the organizer of this. So certainly, hopefully at some point we'll get back to playing those teams. For whatever reason, it hasn't worked out. But it's something that we would like to happen on our end. I think the crowds would be incredible. I think instead of 4,000 or 5,000, you'd have 15 to 20,000 people. Certainly if we played University of Utah, two state institutions, we're both getting, funds from the state. It would certainly be a neat thing. So on our end, we want to do it, but you'd have to ask, Coach Jensen if that's something that he would be interested in. I'm not sure, but we certainly would like to go down those avenues in the near future.
Playing the Illinois State team now that's, I think you call them hot on Sunday, but doing some looking into them. They've got 5 guys averaging double figures. Looks like they're a little bit guard heavy, but then they got a big guy that does well, and then a big guy that comes off the bench too.
Yeah, Chase Walker's a load, really, really good player, knows who he is, does a great job of passing the ball, has seen every double team known to man. Guys leaving the ball, guys coming opposite, leaving, they don't really have too many non-shooters, but he's seen it all. Very, very good player, preseason player of the year for a reason. They're 8-2. They're picked to win their league for a reason. They're a quad 2. Very, very well coached, have an identity on both sides of the ball, can win with their defense, can win with their offense. To me, those are the best teams. Johnny Kissinger is a great player, for preseason first-team All-League guy, can play out of pick and rolls, make mid-range shots, certainly a great catch-and-shoot player. Where he's grown the last 2 years that I've seen is he's gotten stronger. He's better around the rim at finishing. And then he's got a whole bunch of guys that know who they are. Coleman, the freshman, is really, really good. Really good player. Can push tempo, can beat you off the bounce. So they've got a lot of guys that you have to be aware of, and that's what makes a good team.
Just how much emphasis you got to put in kind of that ball screener, just defending those guards, because those are two guys, Coleman and Kissinger, doing really well, scoring off ball screens. Kissinger making all the jump shots, even get to the rim. Coleman really good in the half court. Just how much emphasis you got to put in stopping those guys. And they also had the freshman start 2 games. The other freshman,
Yeah, good player.
He scored like 16.5 points over 2 games. Just what's the focus on?
Yeah, I think just having a physical presence defensively has helped us this year. I think we're a team that can bring multiple guys at you. We have good length, good athleticism. We've got to be elite in our pick and roll coverage, and we got to finish plays. These guys like to take it, into the shot clock. They will run. They're not a slow-paced team, but we've got to be disciplined to finish plays at the end of the shot clock and box people out. When we get our defense set, it's really good. It's just keeping teams off the glass. So they've got a bunch of 6'4", 6'6" kids that crash. And we've got to do a really good job with that. We've got to do a good job of being disruptive in the pick and roll. Whatever coverage we're in, we mix our coverages up. And then inching out to shooters, because this team shoots 37% from 3. So they have the ability to go on huge runs. If you look at all their games, they start 10-2, 10-0. They get off to great start. So we've got to set the tone early.
Looks like there's a common opponent with Charlotte there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you learned what already kind of mentioned that last time. You learned much from common opponent.
Yeah, they played them down in Disney. They played them in Furman. So, just really what I look at is how can you score against their defense? What type of pick and rolls are they vulnerable? Off-ball screening, who can we, kind of attack? Those are things that I'm looking at. What sort of movement plays can we get into that, could cause them problems? We look at every team, certainly. There's no doubt about it.
Looking at rebounding, Illinois State, they're kind of a coin flip between getting like 7 offensive rebounds and like 17 in some games. Just what have you seen in some of these games where there's some games, maybe it's just they're shooting more threes?
Yeah, I think that stat, offensive rebounding, is a little tricky when you shoot as well as they do, right? when you're shooting 37%, there's not a lot of threes to go rebound. Chase Walker shooting layups. So I think they're a good, very good rebounding team. I think they have a physicality about them defensively that they could be disruptive. And then they've got good length, right? I mean, Lieb, he's been there a few years now. He's legit 7 foot. And then Chase Walker does a good job in his pick and roll coverage and his drop coverage. So we've got to be strategic attacking those guys.
Any concerns over some of the consistency of your own three-point shooting, where you've obviously had some fantastic games three-point shooting, some other games where you're making like 4 or 5 or 6 threes? Is that just
yeah?
Flow of any team?
No, that's a good question. I think it's really determined on your passing and your perimeter play and how you get those threes. Are you getting them early in the shot clock? Are you getting to the paint? We talk about paint to great, get to the paint, get a great shot. Are we getting kick-out threes? To be honest with you, the last 2 games, there was a lot of wide-open shots, so it wasn't that concerning. What was concerning was our lack of ability to get on the glass, right? And we have to let the game dictate what we got to do to win it, right? Whether you're making shots or not, you still got to guard. Whether you're making shots or not, you still got to get on the offensive glass. So just when the ball doesn't go in, finding other ways to win. And I think, we've talked about that quite a bit.
Change the lineup a little bit to start against Charlotte. Do you stay with that? Or?
Yeah, I think we'll be a team that could change, really game to game with certain positions. I think 1, 2, 3 is pretty consistent. I think the nice thing is with Tuck and Addy and Zach and Gary, depending on who we're playing, that sort of match up on the front line, we can switch that up. Gary, we got to get him going. 3 consecutive games, foul trouble, just kind of some crazy fouls too, like loose balls, weird plays that he was involved in, bad rotations on other guys, put him in a couple bad spots. So, I think we'll change it game to game.
What work have you maybe done with him, especially Gary, who's been in foul trouble? He's going to be defending a guy who draws about 8 fouls per 40 minutes with Chase Walker. Just how important was it to work with him as far as watching the film and knowing what Walker's going to do to drop?
Yeah, I think you have to play more one-on-one at practice. I think that's been a big emphasis. One-on-one post defense. One-on-one from the perimeter with our perimeter guys, showing our hands, chesting. We did a pretty good job of that, but just overall in general, the discipline on the defensive end has got to continue to get better because really that defensive rebounding are just really the 2 areas we got to clean up. You got to know kind of what you suck at, right? I mean, what do you suck at right now as a team? And it's defensive rebounding, it's fouling, right? And it's the ability to be a consistent 3-point shooting team. So those are the 3 areas that we've talked and really tried to clean up. It's interesting. I talked to Joe Mazzulla the other day, and that's what he told me, that he's working with his team. You got to figure out and identify what you suck at, work on those things, and then, winning can be just as dangerous as when you lose, right? So you have to be on your concepts. You have to be on your details every single day, and then you'll play well. And I feel like, at times we do that, at times we don't. And the great teams, whether we're practicing 45 minutes or 90 minutes, they're really, really intentional about what they're doing.
Okay, so that's Coach Calhoun earlier today. Apologies for some of the audio quality. Sometimes a little hard to hear the questions, or a little, off a little bit there. But I think you have the general idea of what Coach is talking about. Got to identify where we suck. That's great. Give me also his thoughts about the matchup coming up tomorrow afternoon in Salt Lake City. But what about the player perspective? Like Tucker Anderson, he also sat down with the media and shared some of his thoughts too about this break, but also that they're enjoying, but also preparing for Illinois State and trying to fine-tune who they are as a basketball team.
All right, Tucker, you've had some time off to actually practice. I know Coach was excited about that. What have you guys been doing this week?
Really, I think just, fixing what we need to fix. Obviously, came off of 2 games. Obviously, Charlotte was a lot better than South Florida. South Florida was a tough one. You never want to play a game like that. And so really just watching the film and seeing what we need to improve at, the physicality without fouling, the rebounding, and just continuing to get better on offense and just kind of make sure we gel within our offense, I'd say.
One of the biggest keys for you guys in terms of defending without fouling is, like, what are the things you guys are noticing as far as what you need to improve on to reach that goal?
I think after watching the film and as a team kind of going back and looking through the games, I think a lot of it can be avoided. I think a lot of it's, we're one of the best teams in regards to stealing the ball. But a lot of times we're reaching when we don't need to reach. Like guys guarding the ball, 8 seconds left on the shot clock, you kind of slap down when you don't need to, when a guy's probably going to take a tough shot. And so I really think it's just eliminating the in quotes, dumb fouls. And so just the slapping down when you don't need to, the getting blown by and swiping down, or you got a guy walled up in the post and you try to swipe at the ball. So I really think just if we limit those fouls, then we'll see improvements and keep teams off the free throw line more.
Players like to play games, coaches like to practice. Has it been good though to get in and get some practice?
Absolutely, it's been good to stay on the West Coast for more than a couple of days. But no, I think it's been good. I think, like you said, it's good to have a week where you can kind of just watch the film and really stay here and improve. And obviously got two really big games coming up here in the next 2 weeks for that Christmas break. So
looking at Illinois State, there's obviously got a lot of players who can score. There's one in particular in the post, Chase Walker. I forget his number. He was like 6'9", 290 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about defending without fouling. This is a guy who draws a ton of fouls. Really, I don't know if you guys have watched film on him a bunch yet, but what do you see from that matchup with just your guys' front court in general versus him?
Yeah, no, I think he does. We've watched a couple games now. He does an unbelievable job of when he catches the ball, he just looks middle. So as soon as he catches it, he's seeing where the double team's coming from because he's been doubled pretty much a lot of his college career. And so we're going to try to change up looks on him, make it tough. And, we trust our bigs too. We trust Zach, we trust Gary, we trust KT to be physical down there. And we're just going to try to give him different looks all night and make it difficult for every chance he does get. So, because they got some really good guards that can shoot. They shoot the ball really well. And so we just got to make everything tough for them.
Kind of with those guards, like Coach talks about, you got to stay in front of your guy, and that's the most basic kind of defensive thing. These are small, quick guards. Just what's the key going to be for you guys as far as when you play man or zone, different things, about just staying in front of these guys?
I really think it's obviously, like you said, it's staying in front of the ball, one, but it's also our off-ball positioning. So when you're guarding a guy in the corner and guy's got a ball on the wing, like you got to be able to, we call it a triangle, like you got to be in your triangle and be ready to help that guy. Just because we know that Mace, Drake, MJ, Cole, like all those guys are unbelievable at running through passes. And so if we can stay in our triangles and make it look like a crowded four, we feel like that will really contest their drives and make it harder for them to get inside the paint.
And then just they score on the ball screen offense, and they're two guards, two of the best at scoring out of the pick and roll. Just what have you guys done as far as work on ball screen defense, trying to make sure they don't thrive in that offense?
We know our half-court defense is really well. Obviously, pick and rolls has been at parts a weakness for us sometimes, and so I think it's really just goes back to that physicality without fouling. Like our ball pressure has to be elite, and we have to be off the ball. So when that guy does come off the ball screen, he's got to see bodies, and it's got to look tough for him to hit that guy on the roll, or try to force him to make skip passes so we can close out and be there on the catch.
It's going to be like playing the Delta Center. Have you played? No, you just played down there last year.
No, haven't. I'm excited. I'm really excited. I think Coach Calhoun has talked about it's a great opportunity to kind of have that less than 2 hours away from you, and so I think we're all excited to be able to there. Obviously, I think KT and Mace played there 2 years ago, and so getting to go back, it's really fun. I'm excited to feel the atmosphere there.
So that's Tucker Anderson, and visiting with members of the media earlier today as Utah State gets ready for Illinois State, squaring off tomorrow at 3 o'clock in Salt Lake City. Again, pregame coverage on our sister station KVNU begins at 2, tip-off at 3 for the Utah State Aggies. Now, Utah Valley plays earlier. I believe they tip off at noon in what's called the Salt Lake Slam. But, interesting stuff there from Tucker Anderson and Coach Jerrod Calhoun as well. But that's going to do it for us tonight here on the Full Court Press. We're going to step away a little bit early because we've got a high school doubleheader going on. We've got the Skyview girls basketball and boys basketball teams both facing Stansbury this evening, with the girls starting first. So Hurricane John Newbold will have that. And then watch the girls game. It'll be on video streaming on Cache Valley Daily. We'll have the full play-by-play here on the Fan. And then there'll be a little bit of a gap in between. And then Then we'll go back to the boys game, which is set to tip off around 7. But we'll have to, generally that's what you could expect. It might be a little bit late, depending if the girls game goes long, because they have to have a certain amount of time between games to allow warm-ups for the various teams. So just watch for that. And then we've got a variety of other games going on tonight. Green Canyon and Logan facing each other in North Logan tonight. Bear River is hosting Deseret Peak. Bear River is hosting Tooele, and I think it's Mountain Crest that's playing Deseret Peak. So we've got 3 teams from that Tooele area are all in Cache Valley tonight, taking on various teams as region play is really getting underway here. So we'll step aside, and when we come back, we'll cross our fingers and toes, hope everything goes okay, and get to the Skyview basketball doubleheader with girls basketball and boys basketball tonight here on The Fan.
Thank you for letting Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, the Allergy Clinic, and the Hearing Aid Center care for your family this year. Be sure to call us for an appointment before the end of the year to make the most of your cafeteria or flex funds. Located in Providence and North Logan, Cache Valley ENT also has offices in Box Elder, Rich, Bear Lake, and Franklin counties. The entire team at Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat wish you and your family a healthy holiday season. Go to CacheValleyENT.com for details. Most insurance plans, including Select Health, are accepted.
Old McDarrell has a farm and appliance farm
With down-home country prices and big city selection.
E-I-E-I-O. When you're looking for a friendly spot to drive a little and save a lot, hey, Old McDarrell has a farm and appliance farm. No overhead, but lots of country charm. See Darrell's Appliance in beautiful downtown Benson.
Over the past few years, strong and crazy weather patterns have battered various parts of the country. Northern Utah and southern Idaho are not immune from its share of wild weather. Be prepared for power outages with a Generac backup generator from Golden Spike Electric. They are your local source for Generac sales and service. Generac keeps you in control when bad weather strikes. Golden Spike Electric, powering your peace of mind. Online at gsegenerators.com or call 257-3016. They also service other models.
Winter's here and that old car sitting in your driveway isn't getting any warmer. Turn that frozen junker into cold hard cash with DD Auto and Salvage in Logan. It's never too cold, too wet, or too late to clean up and cash out. DD Auto and Salvage makes it quick and easy. They'll even pick it up for you. Get the most money possible for your junk vehicle or scrap metal and earn a little extra holiday cash while you're at it. Call 787-1204.
That's 787-1204.
And let DD Auto and Salvage pay you today. DD Auto and Salvage. Cold cars turned into hot cash.
When the snow starts flying, be sure your tires are ready. At Express Tire, they work with all vehicles and all tire sizes with safety and comfort a priority. As a Point S Tire team member, you're backed by a nationwide warranty that includes roadside protection. No appointment needed. Just stop in and they'll get your tires winter ready. 3200 North Main.
Express Tire. Tires for less.
Express Auto, where tires and service come together.
Across our valley, families and friends are gathering, sharing meals, stories, and long-held traditions this holiday season. I'm Lance Zollinger, president at Cache Valley Bank. For generations, you've trusted us to be part of your financial journey, and we're honored to be your hometown bank. This season, we wish you joy, safety, and meaningful moments with the people you love. You deserve it. Happy holidays from Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.